FSU is in the transfer portal business, and business is a boomin'. Let's talk about it. So the first domino for FSU in the transfer portal market fell on Wednesday evening as the Seminoles landed a pivotal commitment, you guys know I love the word pivotal, from Miami transfer Daryl Jackson. Daryl Jackson fills a need at defensive tackle, he has starting experience, and you get to take away one of the few good defenders from Miami's defense last year. Win, win, win. It was indeed a huge start for the Seminoles, but they're nowhere near done in the transfer market. Who will be the next transfer to commit to FSU? Here's my list of 3 names to keep an eye on. Number 3, Devonte Brown, cornerback from UCF. Devonte Brown is a 3-year starter with nearly 2,000 career snaps, which is really important. FSU has both of its returning starting cornerbacks back in Jerry Jones and Renardo Green, but if you're going to add someone to the mix to compete with them, if not outright start, you need someone that is a proven commodity. Devonte Brown is just that. He's graded out remarkably well the last 3 seasons, always being a replacement level player or a very good one according to Pro Football Focus, including having a grade in the mid-80s last season. Devonte Brown told Noles 24/7 in an exclusive interview that he's spoken with Mike Norvell, Marcus Woodson, and Adam Fuller, so head coach, defensive backs coach, and the defensive coordinator. That indicates certain interest. He is visiting Florida State this upcoming weekend, starting December 9th, Friday. I'm not sure if he has any other visits planned right now, so there is potential for FSU to close on this pretty quickly if there isn't anything else set up. And even if not, getting the first visit is a huge first step for the Seminoles. It's worth noting 2 things. 1, Devonte Brown is the older brother of a high-priority recruit for FSU, Damari Brown, a 4-star cornerback from South Florida. The possibility of a package deal does indeed exist, although I think FSU would be very comfortable taking either or. That does not have to indeed be both, but that would be a cherry on top. The second note, Randy Shannon, FSU's linebackers coach, was the defensive coordinator at UCF, played a role in recruiting Brown when he was in high school. The two worked together for a year in person when Brown was a freshman. So FSU indeed has a really good chance here. Number 2, let's talk about the trenches. Jeremiah Byers from UTEP is a huge need for the Seminoles. He can play guard or tackle, has been a 2-year starter in the Conference USA. He's an all-Conference USA performer. He's graded out remarkably well according to Pro Football Focus, and FSU has shown a ton of interest so far. He had an in-home visit with coach Alex Atkins earlier this week. Mike Norvell has talked to him. This has all led to Byers having an official visit with FSU this weekend. Sources indicate that Byers wants to make a decision pretty quickly. If quickly means this week, that's a great sign for FSU. Byers is so valuable for FSU because he can play 2 positions at least, at a minimum, on the offensive line. He currently plays right tackle at UTEP, as mentioned earlier. Really good Pro Football Focus grades. Watch him play. He gets to the second level in a hurry. He's extremely powerful. You're talking someone who's about 6'5", 330 pounds, throws his weight around, but he might be a better fit at guard at the Power 5 level. Either way, you have the versatility, you have a mean streak, you have the athleticism, you have a lot of traits to build on. I think it's fair to say that the Seminoles are leading for Byers entering this weekend. And finally, number 1 prospect to keep an eye on possibly committing next in the transfer market for FSU. That was my version of a drum roll. Sorry. Jaheim Bell, tight end from South Carolina. Now, I use the position tight end to describe Jaheim Bell, but he's so much more than just a classic tight end. He is a tight end, but he's also a running back. He's an H-back. He's a potential wide receiver. At his best, South Carolina was able to use him all over the field and use him effectively. He has the speed to take the top off of a defense, but he has the physicality to win one-on-one matchups on underneath patterns and to even run the ball. He rushed for over 200 yards this past season at South Carolina. Previous year, he had almost 500 receiving yards, 5 touchdowns, 6'3", 232 pounds. You can move him all over the field. If FSU is able to get a commitment from him and Kyle Morlock in the near future, those are 2 tight ends who completely change the component of your room and upgrade your offense exponentially. Here's why I think Jaheim Bell could be a quick commitment for the Seminoles. First off, he's relatively local. He played his high school ball in Valdosta, Georgia, which is about an hour and a half away from FSU. Number 2, the Seminoles have shown a ton of interest. They've gone all in on him pretty early on in this recruiting process since he entered the portal, and he's reciprocated that interest by taking an official visit this weekend to FSU. If things go well on this official visit, this is where the third point comes into play. I expect Jaheim Bell to also be a guy who can make a quick decision in the recruiting process. We're seeing a lot of transfers want to make decisions within a week or 2. They don't want to lose their spots. They want to find a good fit and get going with their college careers so they can potentially get to the next level. FSU currently has a ton to sell to current transfer prospects, playing time for some positions, the ability to develop, to mold, to help players progress to the next level of football, and finally, for the first time in years, to play on a winning team that might compete for meaningful games in 2023. So yes, Wednesday was a huge deal for FSU to get Daryl Jackson. That's the first domino to fall, but keep an eye on these 3 recruits. There could be others in the very near future.